When I was first starting out in my very first business, I was still in medical college, and my mentor told me that the secret to succeed in business or in sales is to find and meet people and then hold a good conversation so that you can convert them. And over a period of time, based on the tips that he taught me, I was able to find and meet strangers at a consistent basis. But for some reason, I was unable to engage them very deeply, something that he could do. And I was dependent on him for closing my sales for many, many years. And only after studying very, very deeply into what is the structure of the human brain and how does it really engage in conversation, especially with strangers over a short duration, I was able to figure out finally how to convert sales and actually engage people. And it was only then that I was able to truly become independent and successful in my own business. So in this particular video, I'm going to be sharing with you what are the 5 simple tips that you can follow starting today if you want to engage people at a deep level and get high conversions in sales. My name is Dr. Rajat Sinha, and I am a medical doctor turned sales strategist. Starting from my medical career, I have done different businesses across the world, and today I'm a sales coach where I'm teaching whatever I've learned through the medium of these YouTube videos. So let's just get started. Okay, so the topic of the video is 5 tips to communicate effectively and actually engage with people. So yeah, let's get started. What is the first point? The first point over here is just understand that people are interested in themselves. And one of the biggest things that was causing me a problem was I was too much in my head, and I was like, hey man, how am I doing? How am I looking? How am I sounding? Are people going to be interested in me? And the short answer to that is people are never going to be interested in you, because people are always interested in themselves. And over a period of time, as I imbibed this knowledge and I truly understood, okay, if people are interested in themselves, what are the things that I can communicate with them and get them engaged? And after many years of research, what I figured out is that people are interested in themselves, and the 3 things they are most interested in themselves about are, let's just open this up. What are they? The first is money. Obviously, money represents survival to our species, and the most important thing is people are interested in survival because we have to survive. And money represents survival. So if you have anything to speak about, especially with relation to money, or if you're selling something that can help people make more money, save more money, that automatically you're in the right place, and you just need to figure out how to engage with them at a slightly deeper level, which I'll go about in point number 2. Okay, so the first successful topic, the first hit topic that you can go for is money. The second thing is people are interested in themselves on the front of health. Everybody's got some health problem or the other, and they're trying to live to their best potential. And the problem with health is that health always leads to some down emotion. People feel less about themselves, they feel less confident if they are overweight, or if there's some problem going on with them, like they have a thyroid problem, insulin problem, whatever it is. Then it automatically makes them feel less than. They feel that they can't give so much to life, and they're on a protective stance, they're on the defense. So if you can have a conversation starter which relates to health, or if you have a product that relates to health, you can engage very, very deeply with them if you increase your knowledge in this area. Then the next one is love and relationships, which is becoming even more important in our age as we become more and more AI driven. And if you are improving your knowledge in this particular area, or if you're talking about a topic which has to do with different other people's love and relationships, then you're going to 100% get a lot of engagement with them, and you will be seen as a superb communicator. So if you see people who are good communicators, they always choose good topics which are of interest to the audience. And if you don't know what the audience is interested in, very simply, it's going to be their money, their health, and their love and relationships. All right, let's go to point number 2. Now that we figured out that what are the topics, what are the hot topics that most people are going to be interested in, let's go to how do we start engaging them. For this, you need to understand the structure of conversation. You need to understand what is the structure of conversation. Most of the time we are doubting ourselves that, hey man, I don't have anything smart to say, or I am not smart enough, when actually top communicators probably have much less knowledge than you have. Okay, so if you're watching this video, whatever level of knowledge you have, top communicators, I can guarantee you, have less knowledge than you. All right, but why is it that they are able to get more ear space or mind space? That is because they understand the structure of how to converse with people, especially with strangers, especially if you're into sales or something like that, sales on entrepreneurship. Okay, now what is the structure of conversation? The human brain is divided into 3 parts, and the 3 parts are the reptilian brain, which also includes the spinal cord, which are our base instincts. Base instincts have to do with survival. Okay, then we've got our emotional brain, which is called the mammal brain, and the mammal brain has to do with love, relationships, acceptance, and things like that. And finally, we've got this big part on the top, which is called the cerebral brain or the cerebral cortex, which has to do with logical thinking. You know, you got all the science, technology, finance, etc., etc. Okay, and what you want to do is that you want to engage all three parts of the brain in one shot. Okay, so you got to engage all three parts of the brain in one shot. If you do not engage the survival part of the brain, which is the reptilian brain, you will not get immediate attention, because at the end of the day, the default running program that most people have, unfortunately, has to do with their survival. Okay, the second thing has to do with their love and acceptance. Am I accepted? Am I relevant in life? Which has to do with the middle part of your brain, also called the mammalian brain, which has to do with love and relationships. So this is where the real engagement happens. But if you have to talk to them at this level, you have to first earn the right and you have to earn the attention, and then you have the logical brain. And unfortunately, what happens is most people, when they try to engage in conversation or communication, they go straight to the logical part. Okay, when actually the logical part of our brain is not really driving our life. You will see a lot of people in every industry talking to each other logically, and what happens is there's no real true connection. Okay, you can have probably colleagues in the same company working together for 10, 20 years, and if the only conversation they're having is logical, then you can be guaranteed that when one of them leaves the company or when they retire or something like that, there will not be any contact between them. If you've spent many years with somebody and you still don't have contact or you don't have the connection, chances are that you are only engaging at a logical level. Maybe you are friends, applying for like some entrance exam or something like that. I can remember a lot of my friends with whom I prepared for entrance exams when I was getting into medical college, and then right after we got into our separate individual colleges, we lost touch. Why is that? Because we were only connecting at the logical brain level. So how does this impact you in your communication? The first thing you want to do is, when you talk to a stranger, is you want to have a trigger, a reference, and in marketing we also call it a hook. A trigger reference gets the conversation started on a common ground. Okay, and a trigger reference can be anything with relation to urgency, anything that a normal person may be thinking about, which means if you start with a conversation about money, if you start a conversation about health with relation to their self image, if you start a conversation with regard to love and relationships, that may be a pain factor in their life, that is called a hook. All right, if you're going to talk to strangers, very very simple, strangers like to feel belonging by helping people. It's a true inbred need of mankind. And one of the things that my mentor taught me in the early days was, if you start a conversation by asking a question where you need help, the inner need to help another human being and feel significant as a result, or feel belonging as a result, automatically kicks in literally 100% of all human beings on the planet. So I would go down the road into the marketplace and I would say, hey man, I'm getting late, can you please guide me to where I have to reach this particular place? And I would tell them an address, or I'd tell them a very well known location, which was like a big temple in that particular area or something, where people would be pretty much knowing where it is, right? So I'd say, hey, I'm getting late, can you guide me to this particular place? Which pretty much everybody would probably in that area be knowing the directions, and their need to help would kick in and they would start giving me the direction. This is called a hook or a trigger reference. Okay, and innately what happens is, the very first thing that you open the conversation with, number one, should have some relevance to the person, and the number two thing, it should have some urgency or something where there is a trigger that they want to stop. So if I said, I'm getting late, can you help me, and all I'm asking is for direction, it's a very easy thing for them to give. And immediately what I'm doing is, I'm engaging the survival part of their brain. Hey, this guy's urgent, he's probably late for something important, and let me help him out. So immediately what I'm doing is, I'm engaging the primal part of their brain and the emotional part of their brain within the first 3 seconds of the conversation. Okay, the next thing that comes right after the first 3 to 5 seconds is something called a story. Now, stories are something that not only engage the emotional part of the brain, but they actually soothe the nervous system. Remember, was the first part of the brain is the primal brain. Now that I have triggered the primal brain, I want to soothe it. Okay, if you trigger, you're a marketer, you triggered the primal brain, you can't take it all the way to a sale. You got to soothe the thing that you that you aggravated in the first place. And the thing that does it the best is a story. And they would tell me directions, and then I would stop just for a second and I would tell them a story about why am I getting late, like what is the meeting that I'm getting late for. Okay, I tell them, hey, you will be surprised. I'm going to this particular meeting, and this is what I'm gonna get over there. And does it ever happen with you that you're engaged in something, and then this catches your fancy, and I'm actually going to meet a total stranger, and this is what's going on in my life. It'll be some kind of a story which engages their nervous system and soothes it. Whenever we listen to a story, it soothes us. That's why in childhood we would always be asking our grandparents for a story right before we go to sleep. Okay, so keep the story short. If you're talking to a stranger, it can be maybe 2 to 3 minutes. If you're making a sales pitch or meeting people, it can be probably between 20 and 40 minutes time, because that is the attention span of the human brain. And definitely, if you have some kind of relationship going on with people, if you have an audience that already knows you, then definitely you can take it even for a day. We have conferences where speakers speak even for 4 or 5 hours at a time, and then they keep the audience engaged. Why are they able to do that? Is because they're following the format, and then the story part is the one that keeps the attention for most of the time. All right, and then finally, last but not the least, good communicators never leave an open loop, and this is where you want to engage the logical brain, and you want to give them an action, a next logical action. And this is where, if you've done the first two parts correctly, you're going to shine as a marketer, a salesperson, or entrepreneur, because you're going to give them a logical action based on what happens next. Okay, now in my case, when I was going out and talking to people, I would give them a next logical action. I would say, hey man, you have really helped me out, I thank you for this. If you're anywhere, anytime, anywhere near my area, I would tell them where I live. I would love to grab a cup of tea with you. Tea is on me. And they'd be like, oh, sure. Okay, so what I've done is, now I have triggered the primal brain, then I've soothed the primal brain, I've engaged with the story, and now the next logical action is, you have helped me. I would like to help you back at some point. I live in this particular area, whichever my area is. If you're ever in that particular area, I would like to serve you a cup of tea, or probably treat you to a cup of tea. And they'd say yes, that's the logical next conclusion. Now we are kind of connected. And then I'd say, hey man, let's exchange numbers, and yeah, let's be connected. And they would absolutely give me their phone number. There would be no problem. Right, so this is how I would go about connecting with people back in the day. And the one part that I was actually missing was that my story segments were not very, very well connected, because I was still a student. I was not really understanding a lot of people's problems. So when I would go and actually show them a business plan or something like that, the connection would kind of drop off. And the next few points are going to show you how to build that connection to a way deeper level, so that you can not only make a sale, you can build a business relationship where the trust is going to last for a lifetime. And in today's format, where AI and electronics and internet has taken over everything, if you build lifelong deep connections, then you're automatically going to grow more and more prosperous, because your net worth is your network. Okay, so let's go to the next step. Energy, very, very important. Very, very important. All of human interaction is basically energy. And we think it is logic. We think people are not interested in our topic or something like that. When mostly, if you're losing interest, or if you're not getting people to connect with you, chances are your energy is off. So, what are some of the energetic elements that you need to be displaying in your conversation and in your being at all times? Because this is attractive magnetic energy level. Okay, people talk about increasing your vibration level, and this person is at a higher level of consciousness. What does that mean? You can actually build that inside yourself if you focus on these emotions, and you focus on displaying these emotions at all time. Number one, fascination. Are you fascinated with at least some topics that you are fascinated about? I am, in my case, I'm fascinated about money. If I can get people engaged on the money front, I can really hold their attention, because in my life, I'm very fascinated with how money works, how do economic systems work, how does money work in relation to emotions, what has been my story with relation to money. Very, very important. The second thing is passion, very similar to fascination. Are you passionate about? I'm passionate about helping people understand their psychological relation to money, because this is a code I cracked after many, 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 many years of working hard. Okay, so I'm super passionate about helping other people. Very, very important. My topic is money, but my subject is other people. So if you're ever sitting in front of me, we could be talking about money, but my subject would be you, which means I'd be very deeply interested in what is your story with regard to your money. Okay, next is joy, very important emotion. Joy, which is uh, I approach life, and I've learned this from my mentors. I approach life with a view to discovering something new, and constantly increasing my wealth and my prosperity by increasing my connection. So if I'm sitting with some person, I'm deeply interested in them, and I'm super happy that God has put a person in front of me. Why? Because for many years I tried to find people and I didn't find any, right, in my entrepreneurial journey. So if people come to my webinar, if people come to my programs, if I can get some people to click on my ads, if I can get you to watch my video, listen to, put a comment right below my video, gives me a lot of joy, because this has been my journey. I thought I could never connect with people. I was good at intellectual stuff. I had an all India 49th rank, which got me a medical seat in India's number 2 ranked medical college. And I was good at the analytical part, okay, which is the cerebral part. But the deeper connections I just didn't have, and when I went into entrepreneurship, I could not understand why it's not working. And today I'm super happy I have that. You'll see that joy on me at all times, because I've been able to crack the code, and I've been able to translate everything into a coherent journey, which I am following, and then I can help other people also. Okay, and that builds more connections, more networking, and more net worth. I love that. Okay, so these are the emotions that you should be displaying. If you have any kind of negativity, any kind of complaining, cribbing, or something like that, people are just going to disappear away from you. I'm not saying that those emotions are not valid. They're definitely valid, but figure out those emotions with your close circle, with somebody who's an expert in helping you go through them, or who's a close friend. But if you're bringing out these emotions with people in general, they have their own problems in life. Everybody's suffering at some level or the other. So the idea is not to bring out that aspect at the first level. The first level should always be high energy, and then you will see that your magnetism is going to grow over a period of time. Okay, next. Next is point number 4 is practice, 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 practice. Once you figure out how to engage with people, don't just sit in your house and wait for people to connect with you. Go outside, meet people, join some networks which are in the business of helping people meet people. If you are in a business circle or something, join some business circle. If you are a young person, you're single, join some dating circles or something, meet people of the opposite sex, whatever it is. Okay, in my case, I joined a network marketing company which helped me build my business skills, and my mentor told me very clearly, do not join this company if you want to make money. Join this company if you want to build the skills that are going to make you money immune, which means money will always flow to you if you work on the skills that we are trying to teach you over here. And that's what I did. Honestly speaking, I didn't make very much money in my initial years as a student, but I developed the skills that would later make me a multimillionaire. And every step of the way, my mentor told me, you are going to become a multimillionaire. That is guaranteed. And that is what happened with me. Practice, practice, practice. That is what I would tell you. And finally, last but not the least, we have spoken about other people, what people are interested in, what you should be displaying in order to attract people, etc., etc. Last point and most important point is you. Read and immerse yourself in stuff that you like to do. Hold yourself at importance. If there is something that interests you, go very deep into that. If you like to read fiction novels, go very deep into your favorite author, no problem. If you like to do pottery, go very deep into that. If you're into astronomy, go very deep into that. If you're into partying, I have a friend who is so deep into partying that he quit a corporate career to become a full-time party organizer and a party photographer and event planner. Okay, that works really well. Whatever it is that you want to do, please do that and immerse yourself in an area which makes sense to you. In my case, I was very good at health market, which means I got into medical college. I got a medical degree, and I was very, very good at that stuff. But somehow it did not resonate with me. And then I later realized I'm actually more interested in the money side of things. Okay, and I don't have any MBA degree. I don't have any commerce degree. I don't have any finance degree. But still, I'm a sales coach. I've been an entrepreneur, so I'm also a business coach. And the only reason it is because I read and immersed myself in this area, even though I have no other degree except my MBBS degree. At a global level, I've proved myself, and I've proved myself to myself that yes, man, this is truly my essence, and that is the thing that I want to truly bring across to you. A lot of people who have different hobbies, they're now quitting corporate jobs, they're quitting whatever they're doing, and they're going very deep into what they like to do, what is it that brings out their inner essence. And I can tell you that all the other points I've told you fail in front of this. If you're truly happy and satisfied with something that truly resonates with you and you're aligned, then I can tell you that single thing is going to make you more magnetic, and that's going to make you a super communicator, even if you don't understand some of the tactical skills that I just shared with you in points number 1 to 4. So today, make yourself this promise that you're going to focus on yourself, get aligned, go very deep into whatever it is that excites you, and then bring those gifts out to the world, and that's going to make you a super communicator right there. Right. I hope you like this video. Let me know in the comments what other videos I can make for you. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And till then, let's stay connected, man, and let's super communicate. Bye bye.